All right, hello, and welcome to the live stream. I am back from Spain. Everyone's asking me where I went in Spain. I was in Catalonia, which is actually an autonomous region I discovered. They don't actually consider themselves part of Spain. But yeah, so I was in the mountains. I flew into Barcelona, and but I spent zero time there other than just driving through to get to my spot. So I was up in the mountains in a Spanish villa at a health and fitness retreat. So I did not get, it was not relaxing. It was not a relaxing vacation. It was not go and sit on the beach and, sip margaritas or whatever. It was grueling. It was we worked out 3 times a day, and we had to work for our food, and it was, but it was fun. There were about a dozen of us that were there, and we all became really close because we were all grueling through this together. So anyway, but no rest for the weary, because we've got so much happening here at Fast and Easy QBO. I can't even tell you. So many things happening. We'll go over some of them here in just a minute. I just need to make sure. I just realized that I was overzealous in clicking the go live button, and I didn't actually get my stuff set up here. So I watched, Amy Lynn says the retreat sounds fun. It was fun. It was grueling, but it was grueling in a good way. It wasn't grueling in a bad way. So, anyway, but I did watch the live stream from last week. And wasn't Lindsay amazing? Oh my gosh, she did such a great job. I see she's on the call today. She did such a great job. I was just so impressed. And I'm going to take vacations more often so that Lindsay can do the live stream. I was serious, though, about my offer. So I was gone 2 weeks. I'm going to be gone again. I may still be able to do the live stream, though, on my next trip. But because, this last one, I was in the remote hills of Spain, and I had no internet, no access to anything. We barely had electricity. It was solar paneled. It had a solar roof and everything, so it was supposed to be a green thing. And we had a backup generator, and so we were really not supposed to use up enough electricity to get that generator to kick off. But it did. I was there for a week, and about 3 of the day, one day it was pouring rain the whole time. And then 2 more days, it was cloudy with rain off and on. So there wasn't a whole lot of sunlight for the solar panels. And so the generator went off and lots of times. And the owner of the house, the organization had rented this house. And the owner of the house got a little notice on his phone every time the generator went off. And so he was not happy with the amount of times the generator went off. So yeah. All right. So we are going to go ahead, and now that I have gotten my things set up here. Okay. All right, let's rock and roll. Hello. I am Margie Remmers-Davis, creator of the Fast and Easy Way to QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor certification. And this is our weekly live stream that we hold every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern inside our Facebook group, which is the QBO Gym Locker Room. So if you are joining live, that means that you're already a member of the locker room. Woohoo! We're super glad to have you. If you are watching the recording later on YouTube, then we encourage you to join the locker room so that you can be with us live and you can interact and you can ask questions and you get free exercises. So the QBO Gym Locker Room is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. That is what we do. That is all we do. QuickBooks Online, hands-on. We just want you to actually learn by doing. And so we give you, when you join the locker room, we give you a free Getting Started course, which is going to teach you how to get your free accountant account. That's different than the QBO subscription that business owners pay for. Well, we talk about like how it's different, how to sign up for it. We teach you some basic skills and navigation, terminology, the basic stuff to kind of like get you started. And it includes some hands-on exercises. But then also, as a member of the locker room, we have over 100 exercises that you can use to practice your skills using QuickBooks Online. Now, people always ask I forgot to say about the Getting Started course. If you are in the locker room and you did not know that you had this free Getting Started course, it was emailed to you when you first joined. But things happen with email all the time. I know me personally, I have tens of thousands of emails and things get buried so if you cannot find it, then write to support@fastandeasyqbo.com and we will take a look at your account. We'll figure out like why maybe you didn't get the email, or we can resend it or whatever so that you can access your free course. So also, as I mentioned, you get 100 free exercise. It's over 100. It's tons and tons, so many exercises, free exercises. People always ask, okay, I'm in the group, where do I find the exercises? And they are in the featured section. Now, sometimes the featured section is right here. I don't know why sometimes it's not. It's supposed to be pinned. So if you click on featured, then there is a post that says, welcome to the locker room. And you see it says over 100 free hands-on exercises. You get into that post, there's a link where you can access those exercises. Usually the featured stuff is like right on the home page. I don't know where it is. Yeah, there it is now. Suddenly it appeared. Okay, so free. So there it is. Featured, over 100 free hands-on exercises, okay, etc. Okay, so that's how you get your free exercises. You also get a free exercise of the week when you join us live on our weekly live streams. As I mentioned, Fridays at 11 a.m., which is now. So the exercise of the week is part of our paid program, which is called the QBO Gym. So the locker room, QBO Gym Locker Room, which is the free the Facebook group, all the free stuff that I just mentioned. The QBO Gym is a paid subscription, and what makes it different from the exercises, so the individual exercises are just like one-off, learn a particular skill. You just have like one exercise to learn that one skill. The QBO Gym, on the other hand, is comprehensive. It's like Joel likes to say, it's a flight simulator for bookkeepers. When you're in the gym, it's like you're actually working for a business owner. So you have a fictitious business owner throughout, and you have a whole year where all sorts of things happen to the business owner, and you as the bookkeeper have to record them. You can get an entire year's worth of experience as a bookkeeper in approximately 42 real-time hours. So it's all broken up by month, and you can see, so it begins in February. There's a reason for that, but I won't go into. It begins in February, and then every month you actually are, like, you're being a bookkeeper for Craig, and I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, so you get to go through and actually be a bookkeeper month after month after month as all of these things happen. And every month, so there's February, March, and every month is oh my gosh, I've got Spain brain, I guess. I suddenly keep losing my train of thought. Every month takes about 3 to 4 hours to complete. So that's why we say you can complete the entire year in about 42 real-time hours. The QBO Gym is connected to something called Booksmatch. So Booksmatch, and Patina here, this is the first time Patina is our winner today, and I've actually never seen her talk to Patina, so woohoo, go Patina. Why is that? Hold on. There we go, now you can see better. So everything in the QBO Gym is connected to your Booksmatch profile. Now, everybody that has anybody that has any of our courses has a Booksmatch account. It's just how you access your, oh look, Patina's with us today, woohoo. Anybody that has any of our courses automatically has a Booksmatch dashboard, and that's how you access your courses. But if you have the gym, then all of the work that you do in the gym is tracked, so you can see the skills that you have verified. This means that you've actually learned all of these skills. They're in 10 skill groups, and you can click on any one of the skill groups and you can see exactly what you worked on in the, what skills you saw, what skills you worked on in those skill groups. You can see how you compare to everyone else. So the first column is you, and then everyone else is the average here is the second one. And this isn't just for you. You have an opportunity. The reason we created this is you have an opportunity to show yourself off, and you can, there's a little button. Lindsay showed it last week. Maybe I should switch to showing a person's thing instead. Anyway, where you can mark it as open to work, and people can actually find you. And what they do is they have this talent finder where they can find you and they can actually reach out to you. So in order to do this, so we actually rank each of the people. Like I said, Patina happens to be first today, and it changes. Like that will change throughout the day. Like as everyone's working in the gym, like this will always change. And there are 3 important metrics that we track in Booksmatch as you are working in the gym. The first one is your knowledge. The knowledge is the amount of skills that you have gained over time. So it's basically the entire time that you've been in the gym. In this case, Patina has verified 405 skills in the gym. But not everybody, I mean, I don't know how long Patina's been around, but some people have been around for a really, really long time, and they have an advantage over the people that have just started. And so we also track speed. So speed has to do with how quickly, not how quickly you go through the exercises, but how many skills you're adding every single week. So somebody could have a high speed and a low knowledge. That means they're kicking butt, they just haven't been around for a while. So that's the other metric. And then the most important metric in everything we track is consistency. We want to make sure that you are actively upskilling at least every other week. And that's why we have an exercise of the week, because if you finish everything in the gym and there's nothing for you to work on, that's going to make your consistency low. So we have an exercise of the week to make sure you have that you have the opportunity to always keep that consistency high. And the nice benefit is that we get to go over the exercise of the week together, and those of you who are not subscribed to the gym have an opportunity to get some exercise in. All right. So Kelly is asking, do you have to have all the certifications to click the open to work button? Mine does not work. No, you don't. It's not related to certifications at all. It's only related to your active having an active subscription to the gym. So if you have an active subscription to the gym, you should be able to turn it on. If you can't, or if you're having problems with that, write to support@fastandeasyqbo.com and we can take a look at your account. Okay? So speaking of certifications, though, that is a great segue, Kelly. Thank you. That I just wanted to stop for a second and talk about the new certification program that is coming. So as you probably know, on October 18th, Intuit released the brand new Pro Advisor Academy. So they have completely redone, revamped. It's a completely new experience. And if you missed it, I did do a first look video. Joel, I did not grab that. I did not grab the link to that. Is that on YouTube yet? I think it is. If somebody wants to look on our YouTube channel and see, so if you go to fastandeasyqbo.com/YouTube with a capital Y and a capital T, then that'll take you to our YouTube channel. And I feel like I did the first look already, or did I do that on a live stream? I don't know. I'm sure that I did it. Now I'm getting confused. But anyway, so Intuit has released this new Pro Advisor Academy, which is how you do your training and your certification. And so we are in the midst of we have been studying it, trying to figure it out, trying to understand, how we can support you going forward in getting your certifications. Oh, good, Joel, thank you. So we have been working on how to support you, and so we, in the newsletter this morning, again, if you're not getting our newsletter, write to support@fastandeasyqbo.com, and we'll look at why we send out important information in the newsletter. So make sure that you are getting that, and that you're not. If you opt out, we can't even email you for support issues. That's the law. The Can Spam Act is that once you opt out, we can't contact you for any reason. So and Anthony, who is in our support team, he spends a lot of time opting people back in because they didn't know. They thought that they were just opting out of, one thing, and they didn't realize that it affected everything. So anyway, so we did send out a newsletter this morning going over the details of the new certification courses. So like before, we will have individual, we will support you for each section of the test. Okay, so each test is still 5 sections. It used to be just called Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Now it is getting started, sales and customers, expenses and vendors. It's actually, the test is based on the subject matter. Which, by the way, that's the way it used to be back in the day. When I first got certified, that's the way it was. They got away from it. Now with the new person who's in charge over at Intuit, they're going back to that. So we will have companion materials to help you with each section test, just like we have always done before, with one key difference. And that is our certification courses have always been instead of Intuit's. Okay, so that's always been a big question people write in. Like, do I have to take your course? Is your course in addition to or instead of Intuit? And we always said it's instead of. And in my welcome video, I always say, you don't need to go through the Intuit training. This is sufficient to get you the certification. Effective this year, that's no longer true. Effective this year, our materials will be in conjunction with the Intuit materials. And there's a specific reason for that. Because this year, you have to do all of the knowledge checks in order to unlock the exam. So you actually have to go through their training. It's required to go through their training in order to unlock the exam. And so that's why we're going to be, from this season, we're going to be a companion to you going through it on the Intuit side. Intuit does have now this year a test out option. So you can skip the training and go right to the test if you want. There's two problems with that. We looked at providing materials to support the test out option. We opted against that for a number of reasons. One reason is that the test out, when you do the test out option, you have to take all 5 sections of the test in one sitting. Okay? There's a time limit of 5 hours. You have to do it all in one sitting. We felt like that was not conducive to learning. Like, I don't want to just dump. I don't want to just dump content into your head and expect you to spit out 5 sections of tests. We're all about helping you actually learn, and we just did not feel that was a good way to do it. Another reason is because it's no longer open book. So you're not allowed to use outside materials while you're taking the test. Now, I did confirm with Intuit that the way that it's worded on the test is confusing. And so I confirmed with them that they want that you can use their training materials to pass the test, but you can't use anybody else's training materials to pass the test, which is kind of ridiculous, but okay. We're not in the business, although it's the honor system, we're not in the business of helping you cheat. We're not gonna encourage you to check the box that says, yes, I'm doing this without outside materials, and give you outside materials. That's just not who we are. That's not who we are. So that's another reason. The other thing about the test out is that if you do the test out, you have 3 tries to pass the test. And if you don't, you get locked out, similar to what we've seen before. You get locked out. It's only 30 days. They call it a cooling off period. It's only 30 days, but still, you get locked out before you have to try it again. And if you do not the test out, but if you do the in-course exams, it's unlimited. You can just take them over and over and over until you pass. So we just felt like it was a much better path to help you to help you do it that way than to do the test out. So we are furiously creating all of the materials for next year. Basic is now called level 1, and we are diving in head first to develop the level 1 materials for you. We will have them released. Level 1 will be finished no later than December 1st. Level 2, which was previously called Advanced, will be available no later than January 1st. And Payroll will be available no later than February 1st. Okay? But those are our drop-down deadline days. There is always the chance that it will be ready sooner. In the meantime, while we are down with our heads down, I'm in my cave. I always call this my pizza and Chinese food season. Those of you who have been around a while have heard me say that. But I was just at a health retreat. I made a commitment to not in the next 2 months to not order pizza and Chinese food. So, and I have all my peeps that were there at the retreat to hold me accountable. Now you guys can too. So, anyway, so I'm not going to order pizza and Chinese food, but our head is down and we're basically closed for the season while we develop these new materials. And while we are down, you have the opportunity to purchase all of our courses at a crazy low price. Okay. So, normally companies have Black Friday, right? But we're starting now. We're starting right now, at it's over 50% off all of the courses. And you can, it's crazy. And you can get $1,000 off of cleanup just as a special bonus during this season. So Joel will put in the chat the link. It was also emailed to you, the Black Friday. Did I give it to you, Joel? I meant to. Hopefully I did. Hopefully you can find it. The Black Friday, if you want to take advantage of that. It's all 3 courses. And then you can optionally add the cleanup if you want to. Debbie is asking, she said, I purchased it at the beginning of this year. Do I have to buy it again? No, you do not. Once you buy from us, you have lifetime access. So as soon as you, so Debbie, I don't know which one you purchased, but we'll just say for argument's sake that you purchased the basic level course. Okay. Basic level course is no more, but what you will receive once it's released is the level 1 material. So you'll get the level 1 material as it's released, and because of the way that it's structured, we're going to release the sections one at a time. So we're not going to wait for the whole course to be done. So in the level 1, the first section is getting started. So we'll release that as soon as that's ready, and so you guys can be working on it. You don't have to wait so long. Here's the thing about the Black Friday sale, or Black November, because it's not just the one Black Friday, but I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my gosh. Spain brain. I was going to say, here's the thing about the sale is that it's only while we're closed. It's only while we're shut down and like too busy like creating creating the new stuff. As soon as we release the stuff, the sale is over. So, and that, so that it's not necessarily going to go all the way until actual Black Friday or even all the way till December 1st, because we want to get it out as quickly as possible. So, okay. The cleanup course, yes, the cleanup course is on sale as part of the November bundle. Let's see. You'll get that up to Amy Lynn's like, guys, do it now. Oh, Kelly, thank you. I'm just going to put this on the screen so my YouTube people can see it. Kelly said, you are an amazing teacher. I learned so much from your courses. Thank you so much for what you do. Aw, thanks, Kelly. All right. There is no sale on the gym. You can get discounts on the gym two ways. One is if you take the challenge, then at the end of the challenge, you're offered a discount to go ahead and sign up for the full thing. Also, if you have taken any of our other courses, you have a student discount in your account, and you can apply that as well. Okay, let's see. Kara is asking, how does the new Intuit program affect recertification? It doesn't. So if you currently are certified, then come spring, you'll have to recertify. So the only thing that it applies to is new certification. So the new people doing new certifications will go through the new program. But if you previously were certified, then come spring, there'll be a new course inside the academy that you will enroll in, and you'll go through that. Okay. All right. Now, enough of that. Let's get to our actual exercise. Because this is good stuff. I'm so excited. This is kind of like a multi-part series that is I don't know. I'm super excited about it. So when I was here 2 weeks ago, so last week Lindsay did the training and she did her own thing. So I'm talking about the week before that. So the week before that, we did an exercise where we looked at an expense that was being matched in a bank feed transaction. And we wanted to find out what's happening underneath. Like, what exactly is the accounts that are being affected with that particular expense. Okay, so that was last week's exercise of the week. If you are already in the gym, by the way, the exercise of the week is a separate course. You have to have earned 250 points in the gym in order to unlock it. The reason we don't unlock it right away is because you don't need it. There's so many other things for you to be working on. But people like to have it. They come to this call, whatever. Here's the exercise of the week. And so last week we talked about, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about how money moves in accounts with the expense. Now we're going to do it with a sales receipt. So if you have the gym, the exercise of the week unlocked, make sure that you click in here. You want to make sure and click inside the gym, because that's the only way that you're going to get your Booksmatch credit. You have to click here, and then when you're done, you have to click here to get the points, and then that assigns your skills in Booksmatch. If you don't yet if you're not a subscriber to the gym, or you're a subscriber and you don't have it unlocked, you can use the link that Joel will put in the chat. Joel is going to put that in the chat any moment now. So anyway, okay, so we're going to open this up and let's see what our scenario is today. Okay, it's very similar to 2 weeks ago. So Craig has decided to hire his niece Carla to help out in the office and wanted to teach her how to process bank feeds. Unfortunately, they don't really know what they're doing. Craig has asked you to show them how to match a sales receipt transaction and how that transaction is connected to the rest of the books. What would you show them? Let's take a look. All right, I am not seeing the link in the chat. So let me just, oh, there it is. Okay, good. All right, there's always a delay and I never know what's happening. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. So we are going to start in the sample company. So here I am in my in a sample account. To get to the sample company, I'm going to click the gear icon, click sample company. This is what we teach you how to do in that getting started course. When you open the sample company, you will be signed out of your account. And I used to always give a big speech at this point about how you can't use it during the test, because don't do it during the test because you'll be signed out. But now it's a completely different experience. So like I haven't even tested to see if you can access the sample company. Like I haven't even looked into that. Anyway, so here we are in the sample company, Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. I'm going to go back to my exercise. And all right, so when I am in my exercise, if I'm using Google Chrome and I have downloaded the Chrome extension called Scribe. Scribe is how we create these exercises for you. And they have a Chrome extension that you can load. If you go to manage your extensions, you go to the Chrome web store or whatever, you're looking for this extension called Scribe, AI documentation, SOPs, and screenshots. Okay, so if you install that, then when you're in the exercise, you have this little guide to me button. And here's the cool thing. If I have that sample company loaded already, I'm going to hit confirm, then it will pop up the exercise on one side and the sample company on the other, which is really cool because then you don't have to go back and forth between the sample companies. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So we're going to start in the bank feeds. So we're going to go click bank transactions, close my little pop-up. Okay. And the checking account is already selected. Okay. We're going to start by looking at the Dylan Solfrank transaction. Now, and I'm going to close this just so that you can see this better. Now, this right here, so what we're doing, if those of you are brand new, okay, is when you are in bank feed transactions, you are comparing what the money in and money out from the bank to the transactions that are in QuickBooks Online. And you want to make sure that every single bank transaction has a matching QuickBooks Online transaction. Okay, so so here we have our list of bank transactions that we are now comparing to QuickBooks Online transactions. And we're going to go to this one right here, Dylan Solfrank. Okay, so Dylan Solfrank, the bank has some money in. You can see that it's in the received column here. Okay, so the bank has a record of receiving $337.50. That's on such and such a date. That's all it knows. And sometimes it knows some information about that person. So QuickBooks Online goes out and it looks and it says, oh, I think I have a record that matches that. It's the same amount, it's the same date, and I think that this bank transaction matches, in this case, this sales receipt. Okay, so here it says QBO has found a potential match with sales receipt 10264. Okay, so right here, notice it says sales receipt 10264. Okay, so click sales receipt. Say we're going to click that. Now, oh, sorry. Did I click? Oh, I was supposed to click Dylan Solfrank. I missed this right here. Click Dylan Solfrank. Click sales receipt. This is what I'm clicking right here. Okay. All right. So what we're looking at here is a sales receipt. A sales receipt is a record of payment at the time of the sale. It's different than an invoice, which is when you request money and then you have to wait for the payment. Okay, so the telephone company maybe sends you a bill and then waits for the payment. Okay, so in that case, the telephone company would be sending an invoice and then getting the payment. I don't want to get confused because I just said that and I'm regretting I used that example because that is actually a bill from our side. So I'm saying that if I have products and services and I send out an invoice for those products and services and it takes time, if there is time in between when they pay for that, we use an invoice. If we are just recording, oh yeah, we got money for this thing right now, then we use a sales receipt. So let's take a look at this sales receipt. So the customer is Dylan Solfrank. The amount is $337. No, do you remember that when we clicked on it, it said sales receipt 10264, okay? That number 10264 is actually the reference number. I'm going to close this just so you can see it again, okay? Because this can kind of be mind-bending, okay? So here we have Dylan Solfrank, sales receipt 10264. That makes you think that that's the number of the sales receipt, right? Okay, here it is again. But actually it's not. That is the reference number, which appears right here, which we usually use for the check number, okay? The sales receipt number is actually 1003. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to point out. The second thing I wanted to point out is the payment method. So Dylan paid for this thing with a check. Usually when we receive payments by check or cash, they don't go into the bank right away. Usually they go in a drawer, in an envelope, like some holding area, and then you take a stack of checks or, the cash and checks, you take that to the bank, okay? In this case, the way that it was recorded is that it went directly into the checking account. Now, the only way that would happen, well, I guess there's two ways. One way is if Craig and Dylan were standing in line together at the bank and Dylan said, oh, let me write you a check right now. And Craig went and deposited it like that second. Okay, so that's one way. That's not often going to happen. Most of the time, if it's a check and it's going directly there, it's a mobile deposit. You received the money and you took a picture of it right then and deposited it right then. That's not very common. Usually, if you get cash and checks, there's this waiting period, but in this case, they didn't have that. So right now, the deposit to is checking, okay? So then the other thing I wanted to point out here is the product and service. This can kind of be confusing because it says design : design. What the heck does that mean? Why does it say design twice? Well, the reason it says that is because the first one, design : is a product category. So that's the product category, and then this is actually the product name right here, the second design. And we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later, okay? So here is our sales receipt, and let's take a look at how this sales receipt affected the accounts. We're going to do that by clicking More and selecting Transaction Journal. Okay, so we're right here We just clicked transaction journal. All right. And so let me close this again. Okay. So we can see the checking account was, there we go. We can see the checking account was debited $337.50 and design income was credited $337.50. Okay. Now, you might be thinking, if you're brand new, what the heck? What the heck? Like this was my question when I very first started, because I came into the accounting world kind of backwards, and I was like, why? So debit sounds to me like you're taking money out of the checking account, but actually what we're talking about here is money going into the checking account. So what the heck? Well, that's because in accounting, we use a debit and credit system. So I'm just going to go, if I can pull up, do I have my, yeah, okay. So let's talk about debits and credits. I used to think that this was not an important thing to know, but more and more people, but more and more people are telling me that this isn't really important. So we are now hammering in debits and credits. Like, I want you guys to know debits and credits backwards and forwards. Okay, so let's talk about debits and credits and how it all works and why we're seeing what we're seeing in the transaction journal. Okay, all right, so when we are recording transactions, you always have to keep everything in balance. Okay, and you can think of it as, like one of those balances with the chains and all that stuff, but I like to just think of it as a seesaw. Okay, so if you put one thing on the seesaw, it's going to, go down, and so you have to have something else on the other side of the seesaw to keep it in balance. Okay, now in order to know what goes on the left and what goes on the right, you first have to understand something called natural balance. Okay, and so natural balance is just what things are usually on the right and what things are usually on the left. And when I say usually, I mean like, where do they start out? Okay, so on the right hand side, we track where the money comes from. Okay, where the money has come from. And then on the left hand side, we keep track of where the money goes, or in other words, the destination. So where the money comes from is called a credit. Where the money goes, the destination, is called a debit. Okay, so what are possible places that money comes from? Well, there's really only three. The first is revenue. Revenue is the money that you get from your customers. Okay, so we got money from Dylan. That was revenue. Okay, another place you could get money is from the owners. If you get money from the owners, that's called equity. So the owner is going to invest their own money in the business. And then the third place that you could get money is from some kind of an institution. So a bank's going to give you a loan, or you're going to have a credit card. Okay, so if you have some money that you have to pay back, that's called a liability. Okay, so you receive the money from the customers, that's revenue, you get to keep it. The money from the owners, technically it's their money either way, but if it's the money coming from the liability, you are from an institution like a loan or a credit card, you have to pay it back. That's a liability. Okay, so those are the places money comes from. Those are the credit side. On the debit side, we have the destination, and these are assets. Okay, an asset could be just a place to hold money. So like your checking account is an asset. It's like on the debit side, like assets are things that you own. Okay, they're things that you own. So your money, you could own it like because it's in a bank account, or you could own it because it's something you purchased, like a vehicle or equipment or something like that. Okay, so assets are things that you own. Another place money could go, the destination, is expenses. Okay, so if you have to pay to buy stuff, which all businesses do, then you have expenses. That's another destination. And then just like we had equity that is money that came from the owners, we have distributions and dividends, which is money that has to go back to the owners. And so as you can see, this spells out dealer, which is an easy kind of way to remember which side is which. All right. Now, one quick thing, I said this kind of a little bit, but I'm sorry I can't move my head so hopefully you'll just know that the assets are there. But there's something kind of cool on when you look at how these balance. And that, as I mentioned, equity and distributions, those are both owner related. And then we have our assets. Our assets and our liabilities are both can be both institutions. Okay, so that's kind of related. And then when it comes to revenue, we have customers and we have vendors. So those are kind of related. We have an extra thing. I'm not going to, usually at this point, I go back. I talk about accounts receivable and accounts payable. We're not going to talk about that because those are related to when there's a delay. When there's a delay in payment or payment from the customer or payment to a vendor. Okay, so those are related to delays. We're not talking about that today because we're just talking about that sales receipt. Okay, so so now we've talked about the natural balance, which is where they live generally. Okay, so this is just like where they live. Now, when money moves, then you have to decide, okay, where are you going to put it? And the way that you can remember this is if you think back to when you were in grade school and you learned about plotting numbers on a graph. Okay, so you have your line, and at the middle, that intersection right there, we have 0. Okay, and on the right-hand side, we have positive numbers. Okay, so on the right, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You increase that number, it goes to the right. You decrease that number, it goes to the left. Okay, so that's super easy when we're talking about the right-hand side, positive numbers. Okay, well, on the left-hand side, you can think of it as negative numbers. Okay, now negative numbers, you remember this from school, go backwards, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3, whatever. Okay, now when a negative number increases, okay, it increases its negativity, right? What direction is it going? It's going to the left, okay? And when a negative number is no longer that much negative, what direction does it go? If it's decreasing, it goes to the right, okay? So let's take a look at our problem that we have here. Sorry, I was just checking the chat real quick. All right, so let's take a look at our problem right here. So can you guys see? Sorry, my screen messed up. I want to make sure that you can. Okay, all right. So here we have the checking account. Okay, the checking account is an asset. Okay, that means it's a destination. It's like where the money goes. Okay, it lives on the left-hand side. Okay, and when that increases, it goes to the left, and that's why we see it here on in the debit column. Okay, that's the destination. Okay, And then where did the money come from? Well, it came from the customers. It's income or revenue. That's the R in dealer. So it's on the right-hand side. And when that increases, it goes on the right. Okay, so that's why we have that there. Okay, so that explanation is here just a little bit. All right, so now let's take a look. Okay, so we know that it went to the checking account because we saw that it said deposit to checking, which I pointed out was not typically that's going to be undeposited funds. In this case, it went directly to checking. Okay, so that's why we see that here. But notice this says design income. There's no place on the sales receipt that says design income. Let's look at it again. So I'm going to go, here's my sales receipt. Notice if the product, the category is design, the name of the product or service is design, the description is design, is custom design. But if I go to that transaction journal again, it says, let me just close this, okay? Custom design is the description. This is the account name. It says design income. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? I know you guys all know. Let's see. Okay. So the answer is it came from products and services. So let's take a look. Okay, so how did QBO know to attribute the sale to design income? This is encoded in the product and service. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to go to the products and services list. We're going to click the gear icon, and we're going to go to products and services. Okay, and I'm pointing out here, remember I talked about the category versus the category versus the name of the product. So right here, the product and services are organized by category. So this is the category right here, and this is the name of the product right here. Okay, so we're going to look in here, and we're going to hit edit. And notice right here it says income account is design income. Okay, so that means every time that you sell this thing, every time you sell this product called design, the amount of money that you make goes into this account. Okay, this account, this income account, is an account that will appear on the products and services list, or I'm sorry, on the profit and loss report. Okay, so we should be able to go to the product and loss report and see this sale that we just made to Dylan Solfrank. Let's see if that's the case. Okay, so I already said all of this. Okay, income accounts are reflected on the profit and loss report. So we would expect to see the design income account increased by $337.50 on this report. Let's check. Okay, so we're going to close this. I've got to open this back up so I can go to reports. I'm going to click profit and loss. Okay, and here's that design income. Can you see it? It's not too small? Okay. Here's that design income. So this is the total in this date range. So the profit and loss report automatically is pulling up this year to date, which is showing the date range from January 1st of this year to today. So this total right here is all of the design income in that date range. And you can click on it to see what makes up that number. Okay, so I'm going to close this again. And we should be able to find, here it is, Dylan Solfrank, sales receipt 1003, $337.50. Okay, so that was added to that account. Okay. maybe rewind screenshot until then. Oh. You're talking about the, okay. All right, so now, remember we had, so you always have to be, when you are, every transaction has to be in balance. This is the way accounting works. It has to be in balance. So we just saw how that design income, that $337.50, is added to that account. It's added to that income account that's on the left-hand side, on the credit side. And now, where is that money in the checking account, right? It has to be on the other side too. It has to be in the asset account in the checking account. And that is going to be reflected on the balance sheet. So let's take a look at the balance sheet. I'm going to go back to summary report, back to report list. We're going to click balance sheet. Okay. Now, just like the I keep saying that, just like the profit and loss report, you can click on the number that makes up that total. With the balance sheet, the number here is the number as of the last date of the period. So with a balance sheet, you're always, with a profit and loss, you're always specifying a range. With a balance sheet, you're always saying, okay, this point in time, this moment in time, what was the value of each of these accounts? But in QuickBooks Online, when you click on this number, it's only going to show me the transactions in the range that has been specified. This confused me for the longest time. I was like, why is there a range for a balance sheet? The balance sheet, really, it's only this day. This range reflects what happens when I click this number, okay? So I'm going to click this number, and here's where we are, okay? And so now it's showing me the transactions from here, from these dates, and I should be able to find that sales receipt. Here it is. Sales receipt, Dylan Solfrank, design income, $337. So this was added to the checking account right here, that amount. Okay? All right, now let's go back to matching because we got distracted. We were in the middle of matching bank transactions. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to go to the bank transactions. Oh, I didn't get the pop-up this time. And then I'm going to go to that right here. Okay, so this right here, remember, this is the record from the bank. Okay, so the record from the bank, all it says is, hey, we got some money, $337.50 on such and such a date. And so now what we're doing is we're saying, oh yes, that matches the sales receipt. We're recording that. Number one, yes, money was deposited into the checking account. And number two, it was for design income from this thing that we sold to Dylan Solfrank. Okay, so I can just click match. All right, so that is the exercise. We have a little bit more to talk about before I let you go. So let me go back to... Amy says, I like how you did that. Destination, debit, see, and come from credit. Thank you, Amy. Okay. Love this. Such a great explanation and the visual. Aw, you guys are so nice. Donna says, I would love to have a printout of the debit and credit example that you just showed us on the screen. So are you talking about the... So which page is it that you're talking about? I want to make sure. Is it this? Let me show you. Hold on. This and then. Is that, oh, see, that's the, how do I go back? Is this, Is this what you would want? This right here? Because I could probably make that happen. I know a person. So let me know if that's the one that you're talking about that you would like a copy of. Okay, Donna says yes. All right. Maybe I'll post in group. I'll post that page in the group. Post page in group. Okay. Alrighty. Would love to. Okay. And then Michelle says products and services have always confused me. Now it makes sense. Yay. That makes me so happy. Okay. Oh, I've never seen that. TYVM, I guess, means thank you very much. I've never seen the VM added. Okay. All right. So, in addition to the actual exercise that you get in the gym also comes with marketing prompts. And the reason that we created these marketing prompts is because I always start by saying we are not a marketing company. We are not here to teach you how to market your business. But I kept hearing people say, oh, I know that I'm supposed to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. Okay? Well, as you're going through and learning all of these things, like there's so much, like all you need to do is say something about what you just learned or what you just did, like a little tidbit about QuickBooks. Like that's all you have to do. So now with the gym, we include, and as you're working through the gym, you actually earn marketing prompts. So once you learn a thing, then we give you a list of, okay, here are some things, some ways that you can talk about it. And then in the exercise of the week, we also include the marketing prompt. Okay, so let me just close this guy. Okay, so here is the marketing prompt. Oops. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, here's the marketing prompt for today. Okay, and we're now calling them QBO Quick Tips. So I think that it's really important. Let me just give a little soapbox here speech, okay? And I'm happy to have people disagree with me, okay? So but I think personally that it is much more valuable for you to say to the world that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, okay, than to say to the world that you are a bookkeeper. The reason I say that is, first of all, if you're not a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, oh my gosh, become a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. We can help you. You just go through the training, take the test inside the Pro Advisor Academy, get your badge. It just gives you so much bragging rights, But when you're marketing yourself, when you say to people that you are a bookkeeper, okay? Oh yeah, I'm a bookkeeper. Oh, do you know anybody who needs a bookkeeper? And yeah, oh yes, I'm a bookkeeper. I can help you with your books. The only people that will hear that are the people that need a bookkeeper right now. I mean, like maybe somebody's, oh yeah, I know a bookkeeper, and maybe you'll get a couple of, recommendations or referrals that way. But in general, I feel like if you say that you are a bookkeeper, people are much more closed off to that. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want you to sell them on being on needing a bookkeeper. But if you say that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, suddenly you become very valuable because everybody who is using QuickBooks Online needs a pro advisor, right? Oh my gosh, you are can you help me with such and such. Businesses who are just starting out, they don't hire bookkeepers in the beginning. The business owners try and do the books themselves, or They think that it's like a super simple task and they can just get their niece or nephew to do it, like we saw in our scenario today, right? And they don't know what they're doing. And they feel like they don't want to hire a bookkeeper, like a professional bookkeeper. And so if they hear that you're a bookkeeper, they're going to just turn their ears off. But if they hear that you're a pro advisor, a QuickBooks Online pro advisor, then it opens the door to connect with people who might not need you yet. And that is an important connection, because you become a trusted advisor, you become a trusted advisor, a trusted expert. People see you as like knowing something, and they're using this software and they don't know how to do it. They don't know what they're doing, and they can ask you questions. Maybe you can do a training. Maybe you can be available for office hours. And I know that you guys don't want to do that. You just want to take over somebody's books. Like, you just want the job of taking over somebody's books. But taking over somebody's books is a very high trust activity. Like, I'm not going to just give anybody the keys to my financial kingdom, right? Like, the numbers are crazy important. They're super important. And I am only going to hand this over to somebody that I know, like, and trust. I'm only going to hand them over to people who I believe are experts in this field. Like, if you are an expert in this thing, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, yes, like, will you do it? And then even if they don't need you right then, as long as you like maintain the relationship, as if you just connect with them on LinkedIn, just send QBO tips, post QBO tips every couple of days, just so that they remember that you're a QuickBooks Online Pro advisor. That's what's going to part the waters, right? Like, that's what's going to get you to like seep into their consciousness, so they turn to you when the time comes that they need a bookkeeper. Okay. So that's like my little speech of why I think it's more valuable for you to say to the world that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro advisor than to just say to the world, yes, I'm a bookkeeper. That's my 2 cents. All right, going back. All right. So as a QuickBooks Online Pro advisor, you're going to post every couple of days. I say a minimum of 2 times a week. Do it Tuesday, Thursday, or you could do it more. I mean, we give you a ton, but you could also just come up with them on your own. I mean, I just come up with them on my own every week. I'm like, oh, what did we do in this exercise? Oh, okay, let me write a little thing about that. So anyway, so this week's marketing prompt is, and Joel will put that in the chat. So if you guys have the gym and the exercise of the week, obviously it's there. If you're not subscribed, you can grab it in the chat. Joel will put it in there shortly. It just says the QBO quick tip. So you've added a service to a sales receipt in QuickBooks Online, but when you make a sale, the profit and loss report says something completely different. How does that happen? If you've been scratching your head, I've got some ointment. Let's get together and I'll show you exactly how it works and how you can get your reports to show exactly what you want. Okay? Very simple. Oh, wow. What happened? I don't know what happened to that marketing prompt in the chat. That's gigantic. Is that? Oh. Joel put the entire, like our entire internal document, he put it in the chat instead of just the marketing prompt. Oh, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Hopefully you can find it there. Cynthia says it takes about 30 seconds to copy and paste into a post. Love them. Yes. And all right, so that is all we're going to cover today. So I am going to go back to earlier, somebody asked a question about recertification. So unless you have any other questions, if you have any questions about the exercise, what we just learned, the underneath the accounts, the debits and credits, or marketing stuff, feel free to post that in the chat. But I'm going to go back to when we were talking about certification. Tara asked, what is the recertification process? So I don't know, Joel, if you could grab the All About Recertification link from the blog, we could post that in the chat. I don't know how easily accessible that is. It's not in the planner. So, so I don't know how easy that is, but basically the certification program is seasonal. Okay. So we are just at the beginning of the 2025 season. So the 2025 season begins in November. This year they did it in October. I don't know why, but it typically runs November 1st through October 31st. Okay, so we just started the 2025 season. And so at the end of the season, so your certification is determined based on when you what season you got certified in, okay? Then you will have to recertify the following spring, okay? So if you get certified today is November 1st. If you get certified today, November 1st, then your certification will run all the way until October 31st of next year, 2025. And then you will have to recertify in June, in spring. Oh, thank you, Joel. In the spring of 2026. Okay, so you always have to recertify the spring after the certification season that you got certified in ends. Okay, so if somebody so today, November 1st, if you get certified today, you will have to recertify 2026. If you got certified October 1st, so a month ago, okay, at the end of the last season, you have to recertify spring of 2025, okay? So in 6 months or so, they will release new training materials. It usually happens in April sometime. They'll release new training materials. You have to go through the training and pass the recertification test, okay? It's not the full, you don't have to take the whole test again. The recertification is only on the things that changed since you last got your certification, okay? Joel has put our link, the link in the chat that is all about recertification, and it has all of that information, everything that I just said. I think the title of the post is actually everything you ever wanted to know about recertification. And it should answer all of your questions. But anything that you earned before the new release, before the new Pro Advisor Academy, you'll have to recertify this coming spring. If you get certified now in this new season, you won't have to recertify until 2026. Okay? All right, let me know if you have any questions, more questions about that. All right. All right, I think that, alrighty, I think that is it, folks. Lindsay says the answer to the question about what happens if you fail on the, okay. Good catch. Good catch. So Lindsay's just pointing. So our the blog. So the blog has a section. This is not related to recertification. I don't think. I think you're talking about like the regular certification and like what happens if you fail and all of that is is different with the new ProAdvisor Academy. What happens if you fail? All right, we will take a look at that. Good catch. Lindsay, thank you. And Dottie is asking, what about if we purchased the recertification training? So you're talking about our recertification training, which is our companion guide help, then you'll get it. Then if you purchase the recertification, then that means every year we provide companion help materials to help you pass the recertification quickly and easily, and that continues. There's no change there. Ilma says, will the new system at Intuit affect the recertification? For example, will it be no open book? I don't know. I imagine that there will be no test out, but and the no open book is only for the no test out. I mean, it's only for the test out. But I don't know. I don't work with Intuit. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. My guess is that you will not be able to test out of it, that they will make you go, because that's the whole process. That's the whole process is that they want you to do, that's why you have to recertify, is because they want you to learn the new material. So I imagine that there's no test out. But I don't know for sure. Michelle says, will we have to recertify for payroll? They have not yet. Payroll certification has been around 3 years now, I think. Yeah, I think we're coming up on the 3rd year. And they have not ever done a recertification for payroll. Maybe they will at some point. Again, I don't work for Intuit. I don't have any inside knowledge. So I don't know. But they have not yet had a recertification for payroll. Although they should, because so much changes. Okay, any other questions that I can answer? Look, we are doing good on time. 12:24. Usually I talk for hours. This is good. All right, so I think we are good to go. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Fall is here, and we're gonna climb back into our cave. I'm not gonna order pizza and Chinese food, but we're gonna climb back into our cave and get these courses ready for you as soon as possible. Make sure and grab that Black Friday deal or Black November deal. If you were waiting for the lowest, crazy, ridiculous low prices for the certification courses and or for cleanup, now is the time. So grab that. I'm gonna get back to work, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you next week. I can't wait to hear your success story.